It's the Sunday Spread with Super Bowl champion Barrett Brooks, Devin Caney, and your host, Sean Bell. Presented by BetMGM.
Welcome back to the Sunday Spread once again. Devin Caney, Barrett Brooks, Sean Bell repping for you. And it's presented by BetMGM as always. Great weekend to have. A lot of things to talk about. Rule changes is the first thing we're talking about. And we're in Philadelphia. So we have to talk about the rule change that actually didn't get changed but could get changed. People are talking about being changed. People don't want it to be changed. We don't know if it's going to be changed. But Philadelphia isn't very happy. Let's start off with that. The tush push. It was tabled. Basically saying we are going to discuss this again in a couple months. I mean, in a month or so.
That's not what it's saying.
So what's it saying, Barrett?
What it's saying is, all right, Mr. Goodell, I need a couple of you other teams to come on board so we can just outlaw this. We need to get out of this. Jerry Jones, he doesn't like it, so we got to do what Jerry says. That's what he's saying. We need a couple more teams. Come on now. I'm going to set it aside. They should have went on and voted on that damn thing, man. Just go ahead and just vote on it, and we'd have kept the tush push. And instead, they want to make Jerry Jones happy. They want to make Buffalo happy. Come on, man. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I'm gonna get a couple more people. I'm gonna give me a month. I'm gonna table here. Give me a month so I can get everybody else on board because they only needed 8 more votes. Mm-hmm. Come on, man. That's BS.
24 out of 32. That's how many votes are needed. Mm-hmm. Devin, your thoughts?
I mean, the whole thing is just absurd, and it's not even a Philadelphia thing. I mean, we've seen it, national media members, people within the NFL who aren't with the Eagles come out and speak about how ridiculous it is. Like, it's just, if you can't stop it, then learn how to adapt. Maybe you learn how to run the play. Like, the reasoning behind those who want this play banned none of it makes sense, and none of it is true to football. It's like, it's not an aesthetic play.
No concreteness to it.
Since when do we care what football looks like?
Exactly.
There's a ton of play. You think a kickoff, you think a punt, if you don't get the 4th and 1, you think a punt is aesthetically pleasing? They call it a rugby play. Well, football derived from rugby.
I would disagree with that. We always care about aesthetics. That's why the passing game is what it is. That's why all the rules are against running the game, running ball, against defense. We want it to look fancy. Well, that's why they do what they do when it comes to rules and making passing easy and catching easy and offense easy, because aesthetically, the NFL wants an aesthetically pleasing product.
Well, it started out, the passing play wasn't a play that was aesthetically pleasing. It was like, well, should we do this? Doesn't look like football. Passing wasn't necessarily brought in like that.
But that's why they've changed rules over the last decade, because they want an aesthetically pleasing product.
I mean, I disagree with that, because it's not like they've made passing easy. It's really easy to get a PI call when you're receiving the ball. So
yeah, it's because they want the receiver to catch it.
Yeah, but
so they're making it easy. They
want the
Barkley
big 50-yard
literally
almost broke a rushing record. Like, what do you like to? If anything, running backs are surging in the NFL after this season. So it's not like they're trying to do away with the run game.
I never said that.
What are you saying? So you're saying that
they want more passing. There's a reason why all the defensive rules. There's a reason why all the defensive rules. You can't argue that everything is against the defense, and they want offense to have more points, more scores, more everything, because they want it to be aesthetically pleasing.
Well, if they want the offense to have more points and more scores, then they wouldn't be trying to outlaw.
I love it. Thank you. See, I know, Apollo Creed, Rocky. What do you say? Ding, ding.
And look, if I get it, if the tables were turned, if the Cowboys were unstoppable at this play and a division rival, a conference rival was unstoppable at a play, I'd vote to rule it out as well. Yeah. I'd vote to change it. I'd vote to change the language if I could, like they're probably going to do next month. But it's just coming from, the Eagles' perspective, it's absolutely absurd.
No, listen, I get it. I wouldn't ban the tush push either. But again, aesthetically pleasing is what they want. Nice offense is what they want. Pretty offense is what they want. It's been that way for the last decade, and I'm someone who argues against that because I grew up on defense. My favorite position on the entire football field is the middle linebacker. Sure. Right? So I'm with you on what it is, but they want it to be aesthetically pleasing. I think Sean McVay had the best answer out of everybody who had answers in regards to this. And Sean McVay basically said, listen, I don't want to be a hater. He was like, I don't think people should vote against it, and I'm paraphrasing here, should vote against it because they want to be petty. That ain't what I want here. That ain't nice. It's something that they're able to do. If they're able to do it, great. Everyone should just figure it out. But also, it's an ugly play. So he was like,
you thought that was a great answer?
Yes, I think that's
he literally says, I'm not trying to be petty, but I don't like it. Guess what? Guess why?
But he's not voting against it. He's not voting against it.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. He was one of the ones who brought it to the table and supported it being banned.
He didn't say he was going against it.
Because his team can't run it successfully.
Goes back and forth with it. Well, he's not voting against it.
It's the mere fact that the Eagles, number one, they draft for it. Biggest offensive line in the NFL. Number two, they practice it. So because of that, they're going to change it. And I get it now. I mean, they're saying this. Or this is what they're saying. You cannot push a guy or pick up a guy to advance the ball. That's what they're trying to change.
That was a rule for a long time ago.
Yeah, when I played, that was the rule. I couldn't pick up
Reggie Bush wasn't allowed to push Matt Leinart across the line, but they allowed it anyway. That won that,
So that it was like that when I played, and you know what I'm saying, and that's why they changed.
So it's not like it's a rule that hasn't been in place before.
Yeah, it has.
Right. So it has been in place before in different aspects of NFL
not necessarily the play itself.
And different aspects in college football. Not being able to push the quarterback has been a rule before. Like that has been a thing in different leagues.
But it's not this status, though. That's what I'm saying. It's not this
but I think Sean McVay is I know y'all are Philadelphia fans. I just think it was the most honest answer that most fans have.
Yeah, they said it's ugly.
Nah, it's just I hate it because it's ugly. It's not a football play, and you should be able to do it, but I still hate it.
But as
it was just the honesty. It was the only honest answer
I
got
from
any. And it was only
all right. Well, I hate when Patrick Mahomes sidearms his ball when he throws it, and I think it's ugly. So I think that's not a football play. It should be banned.
Oh, stop it! No,
I think it's ugly when Josh Allen just scrambles and runs the ball instead of throwing it. It's not aesthetically pleasing.
But they just got to watch it, though. They got to watch it, though, because, all right, you go ahead and you ban the tush push. Or you ban, being able to push or advance a person with the ball. Then they're going to say, okay, then, well, look at Miami. Look at the advantage they have. They got two of the fastest receivers in the league. Mm-hmm. And that pre-snap motion is almost unstoppable. So, all right, that's a decided advantage to them. I think we should outlaw that. So they got to watch what they do because they're going to start outlawing a whole lot of stuff.
I think they tabled it because they're going to ban some version of it, but they have to get the language right.
Yeah,
right. Like what is the language we're going to say and not say? Because to play devil's advocate again, I'm one who doesn't think you should ban the tush push. I just want to put that out there. I know y'all are killing me, but I understand the other side because I feel like I'm a little more objective on this. But I think defenses aren't allowed to do the defensive version of the tush push, right?
They can't push.
The defense can't push a guy. They can't be a line up in front of the center and then push. They can't do all these other things. So it somewhat makes me happy that we're going to do something in favor of the defense because defenses have been stripped for a decade. So my personal preference was leave the tush push, but now allow defenses to do the same thing.
Well, but see, look at this.
Then I would be happy.
It's going to be a QB sneak. I mean, you could run a QB sneak. You just that's the language. The language is you can't advance, you can't push, you can't advance
push
out
a
the
player.
ball.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah,
but it's still going to be an ugly.
Here's what they're going to try.
Still going to be ugly.
It's still an ugly.
Here's the language.
And guess what? The Eagles are still probably going to be really good at it.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't really affect them, and even when they change language,
our quarterback squats 600 pounds.
Yeah,
it's going. Their Eagles are going to be fine.
Yeah,
first of all, but here's what I think the language part of. I think they were like, you're not allowed to push a quarterback. Then I'm like, well, then they're going to put Saquon Barkley in the back and push Saquon Barkley.
Right.
So now they're like, we need to get very specific language so people can't hop, skip,
or
and
A.J.
jump.
Dillon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's talk about some other rule changes going on. Excuse me. You know what I mean? Little sun in the throat. My bad. Kickoff rules.
Mm-hmm.
This one I absolutely hate. I'm going to be honest with you. A touchback is now going to be at the 35-yard line. If you kick, and this is basically saying we want to have more kick returns.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. Because no one's going to kick it and have it be a touchback, and you get it to the 35-yard line. It's another rule for the offense, once again. So they're going to kick it at the 5-yard line so we can have a return and bring returns back in the game. Dev, I'll start with you. Mm-hmm. What do you think of that rule change?
I mean, I think it's exactly what you just said. It's the NFL clearly wants more scoring and more offensive action, and explosive plays, and they're gonna change the rules to try and make that happen. So I don't love it. I don't hate it. Like, I'm just meh on it. I don't really feel any type of way about it. I feel like they changed this rule. I feel like they change the kickoff rules like every year, or at least the past 2 seasons. Have they not?
Mm-hmm.
So
they tinkered with it.
Yeah, they changed. They last year was like the XFL, where like you can't run right until the opposing team touches the ball. Yeah. So I don't know, and that like it's fine.
I'm gonna tell you something. I like it.
I didn't hate it. It's just there.
I like it because it's more explosive plays.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, you can't just get it. I mean, get it on 35. That's so close to being, at the halfway point. That you got to figure out a way to.
Yeah, I mean, I think it certainly will place a heavier emphasis on who your return person is. Like you look at the Cowboys and they have Turpin, who was
signed
really
to a great deal.
Signed to a great deal, and like even though the Cowboys weren't great last season, he's been really great. So. Looking at the Eagles, it's a team that maybe they didn't prioritize special teams in that position. It's like, okay, well, maybe we should figure out who that person is. I don't want Cooper DeJean doing that anymore.
I don't like it. 35 is insane. That is insane. Like, again, as a defensive person, that is insane.
Right.
What are we doing here? Right. Again, it's just
15 yards from halfway?
Yeah. I think it's just terrible to do that for a kickoff, to have it at the 35. And so if you're going to just have it be the old rule.
Yeah.
And then tinker with that way. Okay, touchback is at the 20. Right? Like when I was growing up. And if you want to fix the small things where we don't want people getting concussions and running to each other, you can fix things where people line up.
Yeah.
Right? They can line up where they lined up last year. But touchback should still be a 20 and change things around, and you can still get kickoffs that way. But just a kicker just being too strong, I got too good of a kicker and it ends up as a touchback. Or what I'll do is you'll try to kick it at the 5-yard line. I'm going to move out of the way, let it bounce back.
Yeah.
Right? Because the momentum of the ball is obvious. Like only a certain amount of kickers will be able to have that rotation. It's going to go back into the
end zone. Yep.
End zone, and then you're going to get it at the 35. That's going to be inevitable. We know which kickers don't have that reverb.
Mm.
So immediately it's going to be 35 offensive advantage. So
then that's more of an advantage than like, why even catch it and run it back? If they know it, if you're facing a kicker who's gonna, maybe I'm overthinking this now.
Well, I mean,
why not just let it be a touchback every single time?
That's what they were trying to do. That's going to be the problem.
But I thought they were trying to do the opposite with this rule.
I think they are. I just don't think they're thinking that. Okay,
like that's good. Yeah,
it's going to bounce back.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm not going to catch it. I'm going to see what happens here.
Like most punters can do that. That's more of a punters.
Punters could do that. Can dead the ball like that. But then again, the punters get to catch it, twist it. You know what I mean? Like to kick it off of a tee, it's tough. It's very hard to do that spin motion. Like if you ask any person who kicks the ball, punters, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just annoying. Let's get to one more rule change. Overtime.
Great rule.
Everybody gets the rock.
Great rule.
That's how you feel, Barrett?
Great rule, man. Because ask Buffalo, and Kansas City. So I just think, fair opportunity for both sides to get the ball. I just think I think it's better for both teams. Give them an opportunity to go ahead and do it. I like it.
Okay. I really like it too. I liked when the playoff rules were changed, and I know we can always point back to that one AFC Championship game, Buffalo and Kansas City, where Buffalo was just royally. Am I allowed to say screwed over?
Yep.
I'm like, is that a curse word? Sorry, I'm sleep deprived today. And it was necessary to change for the postseason. I don't know why they didn't change it for every game, so I'm glad that they finally did.
Perfect. Yep.
I still don't like. Why don't they just make an extra quarter? Why don't they just play for 15 minutes like they do in basketball?
Oh, that's true. That's too much wear and tear on a guy's body. Then
I guess they're trying
to
do that.
And then plus, it's I remember when the Eagles played Dallas, same type of situation. Dallas had the ball for like 8 minutes.
Oh, that's true. Well, but that's part of the game, I guess, if you control the clock.
Well, the Eagles can control the clock like that too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
the fact that it was never a rule where both teams got the ball is like for so long in the NFL is actually the crazier part to me.
Yeah,
but see, not to me, because I just feel like
you win based off a coin flip.
I know, but I'm going to be consistent here. You have a defense. Your squad's on there just like my squad is. Get a stop, play some damn defense. again,
I thought the league was prioritizing offense. So
they are. That's the problem I have. Right? They are prioritized. This is another prioritized offense, prioritized scoring, more points type of situation. I'm just like, stop it, man. Like, you have a defense. Make a stop. See, the computer agrees with me. Right? Then shout out to PC right there. So that's my only problem with that. All right, when we come back, we're gonna, there's some extra NFL news. Trey Hendrickson, right? What's he doing? I thought he was getting traded. Trey McBride, big back from the Arizona Cardinals, and the win totals just dropped. So we'll look at the win totals over under Eagles. Let's see if you agree on what the Eagles over under is going to be. That's coming up on the Sunday Spread.
This is the Sunday Spread with Super Bowl champion Barrett Brooks, Devin Caney, and your host, Sean Bell. Presented by BetMGM. Let's get off the sidelines and back into the Sunday Spread with Super Bowl champion Barrett Brooks, Devin Caney, and your host, Sean Bell. Presented by BetMGM.
And welcome back to the Sunday Spread once again. Barrett Brooks to my right, Devin Caney to my left, Sean Bell here. Before we get into some other things, let's get into some things that are percolating. Trey Hendrickson, what happened to him? He's without an extension. Mm-hmm. The rumors were he was going to get traded.
Yeah.
Well, now he's just sitting there. What do y'all think about Trey Hendrickson? What's going on there? Barrett, I'll start with you. Do you feel like he's going to get traded, or this is just much ado about nothing?
No, I believe that he has the opportunity to get traded. Right now, he's in a situation where he's so talented on the defensive side of the ball that they need him there, but he wants more money. How do you work that out? That's tough, you know what I'm saying? But I really think that he should be, like, right up there as the highest paid guy, non-quarterback in the NFL. But, that's where the money's going right now. So it's really hard to really get these guys and see where they are as far as the total pool of how much they're going to get paid.
What you think, Deb?
I mean, remember Joe Burrow came out and was like, I want to spend the way the Eagles spend, and I think he was mostly talking about defense because the Bengals offense was decent. I mean, Joe Burrow, of course, is an elite quarterback, but the defense was the weak spot. So if I'm the Bengals GM, I would pay the man what he wants because he's one of the best at his position in the league. And if you don't pay him, then I think he'll go elsewhere. But you also then have, like a Myles Garrett situation where he claims he wants to leave because he wants to win, and then he just settles for a bag. So I guess it depends what Trey Hendrickson wants, what the Bengals are willing to give him.
It could also be a Dallas Goedert situation where let's wait until the draft.
Yeah.
Let's wait and see what we get in the draft, what we don't get in the draft, if there's a draft day trade to be made.
Well, see,
that's what I think was happening in Philadelphia. It's like, all right, let's wait and see.
Yeah.
Again, we didn't get the deal that we wanted during this time frame. So the next time frame is the trade, the NFL draft weekend. So let's wait until then. Then we can make a trade again right before the draft, during the draft, or after the draft. So that's what I think may be happening in Cincinnati. The same thing that's happening here in Philadelphia.
It's crazy, that Dallas Goedert is worth every single penny, every single red cent of his contract for this year. He's worth it. I think it's right around 14, 15, 13, right around that. He's worth every single penny. But the dead cap hit next year, the year after that, is $23 million. So that dead cap hit, they just can't go into the season with that. And that's the problem. So either he's going to have to give it a more team-friendly deal, or they're going to have to trade him or cut him because you can't go in with a tight end with the $23 million dead cap hit. That's just –
especially a tight end that Dallas Goedert is great.
Yes,
He's a great tight end, but he gets injured every single season.
Exactly.
And I think at
least
the
4
reason
games.
He hasn't made a Pro Bowl yet in his career. But I also think on the other side of things, when you have a situation like that in the NFL, it always is jarring to me, and this is probably why I would not be a good NFL GM, how easily they're able to just move off a player. Like Dallas Goedert is one of the best. I'm not saying like necessarily top 5 right now, but he's still top 10 tight end.
When on the field, he's top 5. When on the field,
I mean,
when he's playing,
and he's made massive impacts when he is healthy and he does play. Look at what he did throughout the postseason for the Eagles. I mean, the strong arm in the Packers game.
Right.
I think without a lot of his plays and his blocking, you aren't as productive on offense. So I think that I can see both sides. I understand the dead cap, but with players like, if you have a player like Trey Hendrickson, if you have a player like Dallas Goedert, it's like, I would just try to re-sign them on a team-friendly deal, but it's also up to the players what they prioritize.
That's it.
Is it winning or is it money?
I look at Philadelphia not needing a great tight end anymore. Like if you're going to focus
their
on the
offense
run game,
has gotten away
right, like,
from that.
If you're going to focus on the run game, there's only so many balls put out there for people to catch, and so I get it. And they may need a great tight end. They don't need to put a lot of money in the tight end position if this is the new way that they're going to play, with all the running game, focusing on the running game. So it's always great to still have a great tight end, but again, he's just not going to get a certain amount of targets, and that means you're not going to want to pay him that much. Speaking of tight ends, Trey McBride. I'm happy, but I'm disappointed. Trey McBride, Arizona Cardinals, highest paid tight end in the NFL ever, and which is shocking, by the way. No disrespect to Trey, but Trey was my betting gem. Nobody talked about him, but he went over every week last year. It was just like, I'm going to bet on Trey McBride to get over 5 catches. I'm going to bet on Trey McBride to get over 75 yards. I'm going to bet on Trey, depending on the defense, to get a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked out 9 times out of 10 last season.
Yeah.
But it's because they kept underrating who he was. Now coming into next season is different, because now they're going to, you know what I mean? Now it's going to go from 4.5 catches to 6.5 catches.
Was he even in? Remember the heated? It was weeks long. Who's the best tight end in the league right now?
Where Kenny was consistently wrong.
But we didn't even talk about Trey McBride. It was.
No.
It was. Oh my God, I'm having a brain freeze.
It was Brock Bowers versus George Kittle.
Brock Bowers, George Kittle. Yeah, Trey McBride just swoops in, becomes the highest paid tight end.
Yeah, sure.
Well,
He is quietly good though, and I think it's like the Cardinals aren't necessarily a team that we discuss too much unless we're talking about Calamari now. I can't not hear his name the way Barrett Brooks says it. But like they're not, I don't know. I think they'll be better this season, but I think it's the team he's on. We don't really talk about.
Well, George Kittle right now, he's in a contract dispute right now.
How old is George Kittle?
30, I believe.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's by far top 3 tight end in the league, and
you know how I feel. I think he's number 1. I think if you put
he
George,
was number 1. Sean's face. Oh my God. I hope that
I was
camera
about to like
Sean's face.
how you feel and defend Jalen Hurts is how I defend George Kittle. So you know what I mean? So that troll just got me in my face.
No, I mean I can recognize George Kittle is a great tight end.
Yeah.
All I ever
I'm
tell
not
people
arguing.
is if George Kittle was in a pass offense and didn't have to deal with Jimmy Garoppolo, and I love Brock Purdy, but in Brock Purdy, the numbers would be off the chain.
well, that's another contract we're talking about right now.
That contract, again, that's the reason
What's
why
Brock going to do?
Laid a lot of people. With that said, let's talk about over-unders. Over-unders just came out. We have our particular teams. And so let's look at the potential over-unders. The Eagles, 11.5 over-under. And I feel like that's the highest over-under. I don't think they really go over 11.5 a lot of times, especially this early in the season. They normally don't go to 12.5, 13.5. It's normally something like 10 or 11.
Right.
11.5 for the Eagles. How do y'all feel about that?
They're the 100. So I'm going to say, I can say they can still make it to the Super Bowl, but I would have to go under 11.5. That's 12. That's 12.
So 11-6.
11-6.
Okay. Devin?
Wait, so
I'm saying they're going to win 11 games.
what's the number?
It's 11.5.
11.5.
Oh, so you're going under by a half.
A half.
Okay.
Yeah, a half point. Yeah.
I'm gonna go over. I think they'll win over
12.
I think 12 or more. Yeah.
But you're okay. You think it's fair. You think 11.5 is a fair.
It is fair. I mean, yeah.
Because I remember some years.
The Eagles'
people are
schedule.
like, that's not. It should be 12.5. It should be 13.5.
Yeah. Well, we don't know
11.5
like the
is
schedule,
fair.
but their opponents are tough next season.
Yeah.
Like based off performances from this past season. So like
They're going to get everybody's best. Also.
Yeah, and they're like Barrett just said, they are the hunted. So everyone's going to bring it every time they play. Like they have to go to Arrowhead and play the Chiefs again. Commanders are in division, so I understand the number, but I think they can win 12 games.
Okay. This is how Vegas gets you. I don't know. It's 11 or 12. Like, hey, you know what I mean? For me, it's 11 or 12. So I'm like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I rarely go over with these things, so I might go at 11, but it's not like, you know what I mean? I'm in between both of you. It could be 11 or 12. This is why Vegas gets all the money and gets you, because I think that's pretty accurate. I think
very accurate.
There's a step down defensively, but there could be a step up offensively. Again, they're still going to be the best in the NFC East. They're still going to be a great team. So, you know,
I'll lost 7 starters.
Yeah, I'll go 11 just because of the amount of starters they lost defensively. I don't know what they're going to put in the place of that. So I'll go under. But again, it's not like this is one to fight over. I don't care where you go. 11 or 12 seems right, especially with the schedule they have.
Who is the highest win total on BetMGM? Like what team?
I think it's the Eagles.
Is it the
Eagles and Chiefs are 11.5.
Okay.
So I think that's the highest that they go with the win totals so far. You know, again, draft and all that other stuff, things can go up. My 49ers, 10.5, which is a surprise to me.
That is surprisingly high.
It is.
Yeah.
But I guess Christian McCaffrey will be back, hopefully, healthy. Hopefully for you, not for don't get it twisted.
I get it. Yeah, that's surprising to me because of all the things they've lost. They've only lost this offseason. Like, they've only got rid of people. Now, don't get me wrong. They're getting people back healthy. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's at 10.5. I still think they have a great head coach, a great GM, and a good quarterback. So 10.5 seems – but what I also have to factor in is this is going to be the first time in years the 49ers don't have to face the best schedule that you have to face, right? Like, normally they are the number one in their division. Now they're facing other divisions 3s. So that's why I think some of that plays in the part with the 49ers in this situation is, you ain't got the Eagles. Like, the 49ers usually have the Eagles type of schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
2 number 1 divisions, and depending on the division you have to play in the AFC, it's tough. But they're going to have a soft schedule, right? Like, I don't remember what the opponents are, but, they're probably like, oh, go play the Giants. Like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to play the Eagles. I don't have to play the Commanders. I'll go play Dallas or one of them. So I'll be happy with that. So I'll go 10-7, depending on if they add things. I'll go a little bit under, but who knows? Chiefs 11.5, Pats 7.5, Bears 8.5.
I think the
Bears going over.
Me too. I'm about to say it. I thought I was going to be the only one.
Yeah.
I'm going Bears with the over. I think they did a hell of a job this offseason, replenishing their ranks, bringing in an offensive line. I mean, they're doing it for them. They're giving them an opportunity to be successful. Their quarterback. But Williams just isn't my guy. But, I mean, I think I'm going with the over. Over 8.5?
I'm going over, too. What you think, Dev?
I like the over. I was going to say we're pandering to Kenny here. But I was
Kenny has under.
I was the OG. Well, he's a true Bears fan there.
Yeah.
I was the OG Bears optimist before last season. I was
Right.
like, I think the Bears could be like pretty good this season, and I was so wrong. But I think that with a consistent, new head coach, getting Caleb Williams protection and help with his line, he has really good weapons to get the ball to still offensively. Like I do think that the Bears can hold their own, but their division is still pretty strong.
Real strong.
Kenny, what do you think of this?
I think 9. I like over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we all over? Kenny, you're pessimistic when it comes to Chicago and the Chicago Bears. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to try to change your mind here in 30 seconds, all 3 of you guys. The Bears have been a traditionally good home team. I know that this is a different team, new head coach, but like over the course of their history, they've been a really good home team, which is great. But on the road, they've struggled. Their road opponents this year are Baltimore, Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Washington, Detroit, Green Bay, Minnesota, San Francisco, and the Raiders with Geno Smith. That's their road opponents.
Dang.
Do they have that schedule?
Right. What is that?
So I think that they really struggle on the road to win many games next year with
I
the
take
new
it
head
back.
coach.
You changed my mind.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yo, why is that
that's rough.
you weren't the division winners? Why do you have that schedule?
Because their division A.
So they play the AFC North, and it just so happens that they play at Baltimore and at Cincinnati, the 2 best teams in that division, and they play the NFC East, and it just so happens that they play at Philadelphia and at Washington, the 2 best teams in that division. And then, of course, their division's great, so they play the 3 teams on the road at their place. And then the other, San Francisco is just another one because San Francisco was last year. Of course, they're going to be healthier this year. They never win in San Francisco, so they'll probably lose that game no matter who's healthy. So, yeah, it's just – the Bears are in a really unfortunate spot this year. The goal is to get 7 or 8 wins and just look like a competent football team. But as far as this over 8.5, I have to go under with that road schedule.
That's a tough road
He changed
schedule.
my
Real
mind
tough.
completely. That is a list of playoff teams.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you expect 7 or 8 of those to go to the playoffs between the AFC and the NFC. Because you know they're going to be good.
I don't know. I still may go with the over simply because, I mean, they went out and got a center and 2 guards, man, to protect them from the inside out, man. So I'm bullish on that offensive line, giving him some protection. I think they're going to be all right.
Plus, the Lions could take a step back.
Yep.
They will.
Losing their coordinators, losing some players.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
The Vikings might take a step back because they'll have a new quarterback.
Rookie core. He's still a rookie.
Still, yeah.
He's still a rookie.
I don't know what the Packers are going to be. I can never really wrap my mind around what the Packers are. I'm always not as high on them as everyone else seems to be. So, I don't know. I don't know.
Green Bay and Minnesota. I'm going to be 26 soon. Green Bay and Minnesota have been good my entire life, consistently over 500. And the Lions used to be the team that was always the bad team, and now they're good, right? So, they might take a step back because the coordinators, but the Lions still have a fantastic roster. And Green Bay and Minnesota, you can say what you want. You can pick at those teams, but they've just traditionally, they just go over 500. That's what they do. They're well-run organizations, and the Bears can't say that about themselves. So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a tighter division than it was, even though it was a really good division. But I think the Bears will at least have something to say.
Yeah, what you say? Your entire life, bro?
My entire life, I had to fight.
My entire life.
We need to have a conversation. We'll table this for a future show of hardest fan base.
Yeah.
What fan base is it hardest to be a part of?
And
Chicago is definitely a top 3, but we go over the list.
The Cubs won the World Series a few years ago, so they're fine.
Well, all I'm gonna say is I played for a lot of fan bases.
One World Series.
I played for a lot of fan bases, and I had to go with my Eagles, man. That's something we need to talk about. The Eagles.
No,
fan
but
base.
hard as in? Do you mean hard as in the team is bad?
Just all of the above. Everything that heartbreak, Philadelphia fan base. The last
we're
years,
just insane.
Yeah.
For the last 25 years, you've had
but we've been winning.
Great experience.
I can tell you stories.
Chicago was just lifers of suckiness.
I could tell you stories about
being a Jets fan.
Me me playing for the Eagles and going into a restaurant, and the lady who owned the restaurant, the old woman, cussed me out in Italian. I knew she was cussing me out in Italian because some of them words sound like they English words too, man.
We got to take a break. That's hardest for the player.
Right.
I'm talking about hardest just being a fan of.
Oh, okay. All right.
That is Chicago top 3. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll go around the sports world. We'll have our thoughts of the day and fact or cap. That's coming up on the Sunday Spread.
This is the Sunday Spread with Super Bowl champion Barrett Brooks, Devin Caney, and your host, Sean Bell. Presented by BetMGM. Let's get off the sidelines and back into the Sunday Spread with Super Bowl champion Barrett Brooks, Devin Caney, and your host, Sean Bell. Presented by BetMGM.
Welcome back to the Sunday Spread. Once again, I am Sean Bell. To my left, Devin Caney. To my right, Barrett Brooks. It's time for a game of fact or cap. I'm gonna say a statement. I want y'all to tell me whether or not you think it's fact or whether or not you think it's cap. So let me say that first statement. The first statement, college sports should have an age limit of 23. Fact or cap?
Fact.
Fact.
Okay, we're all in fact. Here's why I brought this up.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about the Final Four in a minute. This is Auburn's starting lineup. Denver Jones, 24. Miles Kelly, 22. Chad Baker, I don't know how to say that last name, 25. Johnny Broome, 22. Dylan Caldwell, 23. They got a grown-ass man lineup, right? Against other people like Duke, and I know they're diaper dandies.
Well, yeah, you got Cooper Flagg is 18 years old. He's a child
He
still.
started the season 17.
Yeah.
Right? Half of the season, he was only 17 years old. And you got a group of individuals whose average age is 23 and a half.
And they're not Mormons.
What are we doing here? This is like when Chris Winkie won the Heisman at, 28?
Yeah.
How do you give a Heisman trophy away to someone who's 28 years old? So Auburn, and this is what NIL is going to, right? Rick Pitino said at St. John's, he's not recruiting high school players. He said, I'm just going to go in the portal, get the best, continue to win.
Yeah.
this is what it's going to. And as a college player, if I'm like, I'm not a superstar, but like I'm a late round draft pick, whether NFL or NBA, I'm just gonna bounce around in college, get millions. I'm gonna go to the grad program. I'm gonna do all of that until I'm 24, 25 years old.
I don't know.
I think he's a tight end on, it was a Florida school. I don't remember.
I know who you're talking about. I don't remember the name.
Yeah, and he's like,
he started out in Oregon.
It's like 7th season.
Yeah.
But like, what? There has to be limits. I don't know if it's age or amount.
He had like 5
COVID.
injuries. He had COVID, like 4 injuries every time.
Yeah.
Like ACLs.
Yeah.
I think he started out in Oregon also.
Probably.
He played in Oregon.
But it was just like the most absurd thing I'd ever seen, and it made me laugh out loud. But it's NIL too, because like if you're making more money, like say you're not going to get drafted, or like you don't know, maybe you'll get taken really late or sign with a G League team, but you can make more money playing in college. Why would you not go back to college?
Why would you?
Like
if you're a 6th round NFL draft pick, like quarterback, one of these schools gonna offer me $5 million for a year. Why would I go to the draft?
Have to try out for a team when you're probably, big man on campus, and if you're playing for a smaller school, like it, yeah.
And you can hit the portal.
I don't know the solution. I don't know if age limit
neither.
is the solution, or like amount of seasons within school play. I don't know, but it needs to be fixed.
I say
somehow.
age, because like in no aspect of life should 25-year-olds and 18-year-olds be kicking it.
Yeah, no, that's actually a very good point.
You know what I mean? Like, at what aspect? Like,
there's a big difference between an 18-year-old and a 25-year-old.
Right? Like, when I was a what you call it in a dorm? The lead person in your dorm room.
An RA.
I was an RA, right?
You were an RA.
I was an RA. I was
God.
a bad RA, but I was an RA. Every day, I'm like, these 18-year-olds are the stupidest people on
Children.
earth. Like I'm 21. I'm like, these idiots. I did not want to be around them. Like, some were cool, like, oh yeah, I got you, but y'all are dumb and do childish things. So imagine 25, 17, like your scrawny high school body gotta physically guard me.
Yeah,
you're toast, kid. So again, Auburn cheating. That's cheating to me. Let's get to the next factor, Cap. The Dodgers are bad for baseball. The Dodgers are out here already. It doesn't matter, right? Freddie Freeman, IL, doesn't matter. We are undefeated, one of the best starts to a season after winning a championship since ever. I think they passed the 1932 Yankees or something like that. Dodgers, bad for baseball. You already answered that. Explain.
I mean, I get, like, obviously the first point is to go back to the Yankees in, I think it was 1980s, when they had, they had the highest payroll for almost a decade, and they never won a World Series. And like, you can't say that the highest payroll equates championships, but I think what we're looking at with the Dodgers is they've just built like a behemoth of a team, and it's because there's no salary cap, and they just went out there and slung some money around to the biggest stars. And also, they have an advantage because a lot of the Japanese players who are some of the best talent in the league want to stay on the West Coast. So they're opting to go there. And these other teams aren't even getting a fighting chance. So it's almost like not based off skill. It just seems like whoever has the biggest pockets or whoever's willing to spend the most to recruit these guys and bring in players is going to win. It's becoming, honestly, kind of similar to college and NIL situation. The biggest brands, the biggest schools are going to get you the biggest deals, and they're going to be continuously the best programs.
I'm just going to put it like that. I'm just not going to hate. I'm jealous. I'm jealous that they go out and they bought the best team possible, and they're going to go ahead and win it again this year.
Jealousy is a form of hate.
I'm as green as they come right now then, because I want to be able to go out there and sign somebody like they do, not worry about, passing over the, the threshold of how much you can pay for a team. I mean, come on, man.
And to Dev's point, it's a concoction, right? They're going to get all the best Asian players. Mm-hmm. They're also going to get all the best Hispanic players, right? Like the Hispanic players have everyone's paying equally, the Hispanic players are going to want to go to New York.
Yep.
They're going to want to go to LA. Mm-hmm. Miami sucks, but if Miami was to get it together, they would go to Miami. They would go to Chicago, only 4 or 5 places. So they're going to get all the best of every particular type of culture, every particular type of player, and we're winning the spin to get it. So it's just, what are we going to do here?
I mean, they got players, Mookie Betts. Oh, where you want to play at today? Where you want to play at today? Oh, somebody heard of it. We'll just put you over there. You're that good. You know what I'm saying? You're that good.
I also have a counterpoint. So Kenny said in our chat, if the Eagles are allowed to have a super team, so are the Dodgers. It's totally different because I think the Eagles have a super team in a way that was constructed in multiple ways. So Howie Roseman, that skill of the GM in acquiring players and scouting players, and that's the scouting team. Then you have the coaches. You have Vic Fangio bringing out, the best talent in his defensive players. You have the offensive line coach, Jeff Stalin, bringing out the best talent in his players while staying under the salary cap. The MLB doesn't have a salary cap. So that the Dodgers are not the same at all as an NFL team like the Eagles, who are a super team, because the Dodgers are just, here, we're just going to hand you this multi-$100 million paycheck so you come to and play for us. And we're also in one of the largest markets in the country, in a city that's desirable.
It's not the same.
It's not fair.
It's not the same, Kenny, because the Eagles got to dance around the salary cap. Howie and the people are just great at it, but there's still an amount of dancing. It's not like they can say, Patrick Surtain, come over. Myles Garrett, come over. Pat Mahomes, come over. Well, you and Jalen can figure it out. It's not like they could do that. The Dodgers could do that.
Well, I'm just saying
I don't care what position you play, what you do. Everybody come on over.
Well, also the Eagles have homegrown talent that they're paying. They put out a lot of money in these contracts, but they're homegrown talent. Saquon and AJ, okay, those two are out of the norm. But everybody at the offensive line, all those guys are guys that, they grew up in their system, they drafted, So, it's a difference. They're not going out just hand-picking these guys. Yeah. They're drafting these guys and getting them better.
All right, let's get to –
Sorry.
Go ahead, Deb. I'm sorry. We got to get to our thoughts.
You're going to say I'm a hater for saying this, but just one last thing on the Dodgers. They won the World Series last season. And watching that and watching them win it, it didn't even feel like, oh, wow, the great job. They worked their butts off, and it was okay, well, they paid the most, so naturally
that is some hater stuff. But,
that's what
there's some fact to it.
Obviously, Dodgers fans don't feel that way. Yeah. But I'm not a Dodgers fan, and that's my overall thoughts on it.
Okay, let's get to what's on our mind before we end off the show. Who wants to go first? Y'all want me to go first this time?
I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
That Dodgers conversation made me forget mine. Come to me last, please.
I'm tired of people saying that Howie Roseman got cheap as far as paying players this year.
Oh, Philly.
He did not get cheap. But you have to understand, at this point, he is going out and understanding that you can't have feelings over guys. You can't be, oh, I love you. It's the nature of the beast that you got to leave and pay players that are up and coming. We have, by far, one of the best defensive tackles in the league, one of the best centers in the league, that have to get paid. And you can't keep these guys here and pay the guys that are coming up through the ranks. So, yes, no, he's not getting tight with his pocketbook. But what he is being strategic and understanding he has to pay guys that are really impact players. I'm talking about players that are probably the best at their positions. They're going to have to get paid this next year.
Okay, that's shots at some Philadelphia fans.
Yeah, that's what
me
they're
mad
saying
right now. I got to give love and give a shout out because my current favorite WNBA player retired, Elena Deladon. She's a local. She's a Delaware great, and I call her the prototype. If you had to say, I want to design, this is NBA 2K, WNBA 2K, design a player, it would be Elena Deladon. 6'5", handle, can shoot, can post, can play defense, has the strength, has the body. If she came out in today's world where all the new Caitlin Clark fans are here now, they would think she's an alien. That's how good she is. 2-time MVP, right? She's the first WNBA player ever to go 50, 40, 90. It's 50% field goal, 40 from the 3, 90 from the free throw line.
Damn.
Right? That she's the first player ever to do that. The first player ever to be MVP with 2 different teams. Right? That goes along with the championships, the rookie of the year, the all-NBAs. The only problem was she had a career riddled with injuries. So while she had 7 all-star appearances, she had torn ACLs. She's had all of that and still dealt with that and still got a championship, still got MVPs. Anybody who knows the WNBA, she is goated. She would be in the argument for the greatest. She's in the argument for the most talented player ever. So if all the new fans came over and would have saw her in her peak, boy, I tell you, all that money would have went to her.
Well, we only have 30 seconds, and we didn't really get to touch on March Madness. So all I will say is that if I lived back during the witch trials, I absolutely would be accused of being a witch because I somehow win March Madness every single year, and my bracket is currently 99.9%
I hate
correct.
You. What?
So looking for a three-peat. I've literally won the last 3 years in a row. And I don't watch college basketball. I literally just like pick my brackets based off vibes. So let's go Duke.
Wow. Oh, thanks. All right, we got to get out of here. Of course she wins everything. She's the good luck charm of everything. It's been a pleasure. Devin Katie, Barrett Brooks, Sean Bell. Y'all have a good weekend. It's been the Sunday Spread.
This is the Sunday Spread with Super Bowl champion Barrett Brooks, Devin Caney, and your host, Sean Bell. Presented by BetMGM.